Right, bit of a different video for you here. So what I'm going to do, I'm taking a book that I have used before many years ago to make a junk journal from, and I happen to have, I think I had 3 of these books. So I am going to attempt to make a journal using the same book. We're going to have a quick flick through of the journal that I made previously. Unfortunately, I don't have it because it was sold, but we're going to quickly have a look at the video, and then we're going to use this book and we're going to see how our styles have changed over time, and you know what we're going to make from it now. So this is the journal that I'm going to be making. As you can see, I've kind of already bound it, but it's in its bare form. So let's have a quick look at what the original journal looked like. I'm going to zoom right in, so hopefully you're going to be able to see a little bit better the actual kind of flip through. Obviously, I'm going to kind of just flick through this pretty quickly. So, I mean, this was obviously in my days where I didn't have that much in terms of supply, and the majority of my supplies were stamps and scrapbooking pages. You know, from 12 by 12 paper pads, because that was what I mainly had those days. As you can see, this is page 1 and you know of the journal, and already I've used a page of the wildflowers book. So this is a ladybird book, sorry, I should have said ladybird book, British wildflowers. So I've already used a page there. It looks like I had done it on a long envelope, so I have brought along some long envelopes in case I want to do kind of similar to that again. And then flicking through, oh, so sorry about that, my camera just fell down. So yeah, quite interestingly, I didn't use the book on every page on here. So if I kind of flick through now, probably these days I probably would be inclined to use the book pretty much on most of the pages. I didn't do that in, you know, in this journal, probably because I was trying to actually, you know, make the most of the book and get it to last kind of, you know, a bit longer. So by not including it every day, or on every page, sorry, it was going to make it last a lot longer. So I'm just going to kind of like carry on flicking through. We'll get to the next page where we've got, okay, so I'm just going to be skipping through until we find another page where we've got some more from the book. As you can see, more pages without images from that book, another image with another page without a book image. So quite interesting. Obviously these days, you know, I have more kind of in my stash. I've got more books and things. So although there is a temptation to, of course, want to hoard this book, I'm not going to feel quite so desperate to hoard it, because of course I have got more books generally. So that's kind of, you know, one sort of really keen observation that I've already kind of thought, well, definitely I'm going to do it differently to that. So we're going through, so here I've got another image for the book. So I mean, so far I've only really used 2 images from the book, which is quite interesting, isn't it? Now again, I've pulled in another one of those 5 by 7 envelopes like I had made there, so I can do another one similar to that, because it's quite nice to do a bit of a you know, similar to what we've done in here. This, I've used a paper bag to make a sort of booklet. So again, I'm sure I've got some paper bags somewhere. Now, I have to say, I think my paper bags tend to be brown paper bags these days, just like my envelopes were, you know, brown envelopes. But I think that's going to be fine. I'm just having a look. Oops, yep. Hang on. Oh, well, it's a glassine bag, but that's fine. I can do something with that. So, and it has been coffee dyed. So we're going back through. Again, no book image on that page. So more flicking through. Okay, so here, this is the center spread where I've got a double page spread. Obviously this one I have got one of the book images, and this one, it looks like the book image is actually in the form of a sort of journal card that I've tucked in. So if we just have a look through there, that one's on the pocket, and then this, if you just, oops, let me flick it back, flick through, and this one, as you can see, it's just a fold out where I've used one of the images from the book. So, you know, although it's not glued in, we've used them there. So I think, are we up to four images that we've used from the book? So I mean, we haven't used many, have we? There I've just left a plain decorative page, and now on this one again I've got another one as a journal card, which is popped into the belly band there. So I'm just going to flick through. Let's get rid of that. Okay, I'll just go back through. So we're up to five images. Okay, and we'll just flick through. Again, no book image on that page. Interesting to see. Oh, here we go. Now this tag, I do really like how this tag was made actually. So I've just kind of fussy cut along the top of those flowers and I've popped them onto that tag. So I do really, really like that. This one, I love how this one was. And actually I haven't really done this, to be honest, I think since then. I've just put corner tucks on an envelope and then tucked the journal card, well, it's actually just the book page, into those corner tucks. So I might do something like that because I actually really like how that looks. Right, must try and remember that. So perhaps I'll have to do that as my first one, to be honest, because otherwise I'm very likely to forget. And then going through, don't know whether I've got any more book images. No, I think that's the last of the book images. So yeah, that was the last of them. So we are going to use that as our inspiration now for making our journal today. So I'm going to just shrink you down. Okay, so yeah, we're going to kind of see how we get on. Now, as you can see, my journal today, very different colours obviously to what I used there. So again, we've got straight away a very different take on the book to what we had there. Now these I could have done with coffee dyeing, so I might coffee dye those as we kind of go through. We'll just see how we get on. So what I might do is start with that envelope where I had those corner pockets, because if I don't start with that, I won't remember to do that, to be honest, because I did really love how that looked. So let's have a look and see. Now, I don't know what page I'm going to have that on. Do I want it on the centre spread? Not necessarily. So I tend to just flick through journals and, you know, put things in ad hoc sort of points. So I might have it here like this. And then, yeah, I think that one, I just kind of glued this on as either a tuck spot or maybe there. So I could do it like that. And then this, I think, was opening. Or we could do it this way round and have that one opening. Yeah, perhaps we'll do it like that. Okay. So what are we going to use as our corner tucks? I'm not sure. Let me have a look. I've got just some thicker card or pieces of paper here, just in my sort of scraps that I've held together with a bulldog clip. So let's just see if we've got any at all that might go in here. I mean, that one's not too bad. Yeah, we could use that. So let's keep that to one side. Have got that as well. Have got this. I mean, it's quite a small piece, but we'll just see. So I'm just pulling out anything at all that I think, you know, there's even the slightest possibility of it going. So, right, okay, definitely none of these. So let's just bulldog clip these back together. Okay, pop that back out the way. Do I have any other thicker paper here? Got a couple of other thicker sheets. Hold on. Right, I've got a couple of these. No, they're not really great either to go with this. So that's from my oh my goodness, I've forgotten the name of that. Which is, yeah, I don't know. Can't remember the name of that. I'm so sorry. Right, okay, clip those onto there. Or I have got here also some of my clocks collection papers, which also could be pretty nice on here. So let's have a look and see. So it's going to be going over here. So I feel like, you know, obviously I want to tie it into these colours. So this one, it's not bad. I mean, obviously what we're going to do, we're going to just tear down the corners. So we'd have potentially that one and, you know, say that one as a corner. Not bad, not bad. Could use the clocks, which, yeah, I mean, that would be quite nice. Okay, so those are possibles. We've got this one. This is from my Love collection. Again, not too bad. I think that's also from the Love collection. To be honest, I mean, this one might be best because it's sort of quite neutrally. So we'll just keep that one there. This is from the Capital collection. I mean, again, actually, this one doesn't look bad because it goes pretty well with those colours there. So we'll just put those two there. I don't know whether they are going to be too small is my only issue. So this one also from the Love collection, and this side is from the Butterflies collection. So I mean, actually I don't mind any of these bits. Yeah, I don't mind any of these. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to cut this down like that. Okay, so if we were to tear that down, now it was weird because I don't know if you noticed, but those two corners that I had in the original one, they were pretty small. And these days I just struggle to make anything tiny. So straight away I'm kind of thinking, oh, I'll put it across there. But no, I was making them pretty small in there. So let's try and restrain ourselves. So I'm going to go through the British Wildflowers book and try and pick something that's going to complement this page quite nicely. So that's potentially quite nice. I mean, it's strange because although I do love this book, now I think, oh, this book's quite muted. You know, the colours are quite muted and quite dark compared to the bright colours in the printables that I'm using here. I'm just pulling off any at all that seem to have any hints of pink, really. And that's quite nice. Let's just see what else we've got in here. That one's not too bad. Okay. Yeah, I made a terrible mess of pulling that other one out, so I thought I'd best try and make a better job of pulling the others out. So this one here. Okay. I just thought this would be a really fun thing to do, to go back to something that we made a long time ago and see how our styles and things have evolved and moved on since then. And I mean, I personally thought that looked quite different, you know, compared to kind of maybe things that we make these, or that I make, you know, these days. Predominantly it looked quite, I felt quite plain, you know, and yeah, I was quite surprised how few book images I had used. But like I say, I think that was really because I was sort of, you know, trying to preserve the pages and make them sort of stretch further by not using too many. So I'm going to be much more generous using them this time. So right, now I'm thinking I quite like this one, I think. So this is the butterfly one. Okay, let's put that to one side. This is the Capital collection one, if we would have those corners. And this is the Love collection one. I think it might be this one that's the winning one. Okay, right. Now, must try and do this quite small. This is where, of course, I'm going to struggle. So, yeah. Now, if I were to have this up here, or shall we have this one up here? I mean, again, it probably doesn't really matter, to be honest, but... Right, so I'm going to then tear this down. My corners on that envelope, they were just torn corners. So, you know, obviously that hasn't changed from my original style. I still love torn edges now. Okay, and then this one we're going to put here. Now, I'm thinking I must have had to tear that page down a bit, because otherwise it's going to be quite big and a bit of a struggle to actually like squish it into the corners. So like that. Okay, now I am wondering whether I've got any of these envelopes just in coffee dyed rather than this brown. I mean, I normally love the brown, but I'm thinking maybe not brown for this. Let me just quickly have a look. Hold on. Okay, that was awesome. So I did actually have some coffee dye envelopes, would you believe? So I thought I did. I wouldn't have bothered looking otherwise, but I felt I'd seen some the other day. So that was absolutely brilliant. Right, so if this hooks over here, let's just check. And then with the corners like that. Yeah. Okay, so I quite like how that looks. Do we like it on that one? I'm just going to check that I wouldn't prefer it on a different page. Okay. Could have it even on this. Oh, Oh, I might prefer it on this page, you know. Oh, you know what's going to happen, don't you? Now I'm going to think, oh, I would have preferred it then with these papers. Just double check. Quite nice on there, actually. Oh, well, quite nice maybe on here. Oh, yeah, I think I prefer it here, to be honest. So, yeah, going to have it on there because I love those colours picking up, you know, from that underneath. Now, my paper is printed not borderless. It's gone wonky in my printer. So, yeah, just inking that up. Now, going to just ink these up a little bit and then glue these down. Okay. Right. Now I wonder, put that like that and then that like that. And then I will probably cut that book page down a little bit because as you can probably see, it's a bit tall. So yeah, I don't need to worry too much about the length of it. No, the width of it. But the height of it, definitely, it seems a little bit on the tall side. So I'm going to put that there like that. Okay. Yep. Squish that down. Okay. And we'll just ink the other one up. Did I ink that already? I'm losing my memory. Right, okay. Just glue that one down. Okay. Up there, like that. Yeah, I mean, I don't really do repeats. You know, I don't know about you guys, but I have probably quite a low boredom threshold. So I don't tend to do repeat journals or anything like that. So although I am using the same book, I'm confident that this is going to turn out, you know, pretty different to the original. Even though this is now the same style embellishment piece, I think it will still look very, very different. So, you know, I thought it would be fun to come along and do something like this. Right, so this I just slipped in there. Now, obviously on that original as well, I haven't lined it or anything because keeping it flimsy makes it flexible to be able to kind of like slip it into there nicely. So yeah, I love that. Now this page, I'm going to have to coffee dye this, I think, before I can glue the envelope down. So yeah, I'm going to do that. Now let's grab my coffee dye. Okay, I'm back. So I just quickly coffee dyed all of those bluey background papers, and I quickly ironed them in here as well. So they're all ironed and they're all, yeah, coffee dyed now. So looking better, I think. More, you know, more in keeping with everything else. So this is going to go here like this. Now, with the other one, I did actually use the envelope flap as my decorative piece on, you know, on the reverse page, if you see what I mean. I could do that. I feel, is that a little bit boring? I'm not sure. Let me just see whether, well, I guess we could then tuck in one of the pages from here. So something like that. That would be quite nice, wouldn't it? So yeah, perhaps we'll do that. So I'm going to just now glue this down. So I'm going to glue along here, just along the fold of the envelope. So just a little bit of glue there, like that. Okay, and then just smoosh that down. Oops, let me just get a piece of tissue. Just to be able to smoosh that down a bit more, and I will just open it out here. Make sure I'm not gluing this down because my goodness, that happens to me often. There we go. like that. Okay, so like that. So yeah, on this one I'm going to have, let's say, you know, let's just say that tucked in there. And then I also brought along some plainish pages, yep, that I can just now collage the inside of the front cover. So I'm going to do that. Let's just see, what did I bring along? Brought along these, and some of this. So yeah, I'm going to, oh, it's all double-sided. Yeah, I'm going to, I think, go with some of this. Okey-dokey. And then let's have a bit of this one and a bit of this one. So tear down some of that. Not quite like that. Sometimes this presentation paper, it has like some, can you see, like it's like a 2-ply piece of paper, so it's sort of, when you tear it, it comes away. So I'm going to go in like that, I think. And then I might have a little bit of pink as well. Like that, I think. Okay. And that way we've got, you know, we've picked up the pinks and the blues, haven't we? So this piece here, when I sort of buy my journals like in advance, you know, sometimes I'll have like a bulk binding session, and I just bind them in advance, and I try and put like a sort of reinforcement piece here, just with some extra paper, for that reason really, to reinforce it, but also so that, you know, depending on how I want to decorate the cover, I could put my paper underneath there. So it's just giving me sort of choices really of how I might like to actually, you know, finish my pieces off. So it's just, yeah, it's just a little sort of something that I've got into the habit of doing, and I quite like it. So right, let's, yeah, I think I'm going to put this down first actually. So let's pop that there, and then yeah, I'm going to go along here, and then I'll take it off afterwards, cut it to size afterwards. So like that. Okay. I'm trying to be so good this year in using up stuff, you know, and not hoarding things anymore. I must stop with the hoarding and just start actually using my things, because you know, it's so silly. And you know, I read a comment the other day, and the lady said, you know, about when we don't use things, you know, because we're hoarding them because we love them. And exactly the same with clothes. And I've said this myself lots of times as well, so it's not kind of like news to me, but just reading it from someone else, I guess, reinforced it. You know, what's the point in that? We're holding on to like our favourite stuff because it's our favourite stuff. And then what happens is, you know, invariably don't end up using it at all, because actually, you know, it goes out of fashion, or I don't know, maybe lose it, or, you know, gets damaged, things like that. And then, you know, far from it being our favourite things, we've ended up wasting our favourite things. So that's just silly, isn't it? So I'm trying to get my head around that thought, and, you know, really kind of go with that. Now, it is quite hard, because if you are by nature a little bit likely to want to hoard things, especially those things that you like the best, you know, your favourite things, to actually get that mindset of no, use them is actually, you know, it kind of goes against the grain a bit. But yeah, I'm really trying my best, because you know, it's a ridiculous way to behave, isn't it? You know, that you actually end up wasting your favorite things, using things that you don't like quite so much, instead of using those favorites, and then you know, actually ending up then never using them. That, you know, what kind of crazy behavior is that? So yeah, I kind of was looking through, and I just thought, do you know what, it's time to use some of my, you know, old kind of like favorite books and things like that. So like I say, I'm sure that I do have another one of these wildflowers books somewhere. If I do, I could list it possibly on my shabbydabbydoodah.co.uk website, you know, on my shop there. So, you know, keep your eyes peeled, and yeah, I will try and, you know, I've got quite a few ladybird books, so perhaps I could list a few of them. I mean, they're quite hard to get hold of sometimes, and particularly the old ones. I mean, if you're not fussed and you're happy to get the ones from a bit later, like the 90s with the glossy fronts, then they're obviously quite easy to get hold of. But if you want the ones that are more vintage, then yeah, they can be a little bit tricky to get hold of. So I'll have a look through and see about possibly listing some, but at the very least, if I can find the other one of these, then I will list it. At this point, there's no guarantees, because I'm not even sure whether I know where it is. But I mean, hopefully it's just on my bookshelf where the other one was. But obviously there's a lot of books on there. They're all kind of like piled up now. So I'm not really too sure where, you know, whether it's in there or not. Or even if I had a third one, although I'm pretty sure I did. But I mean, isn't that as well crazy? You know, that first one that I made that journal from, I was so sparing with the images that I used, you know, that I've got half the book kind of left, and that's still on the bookshelf. It's crazy, isn't it? Absolutely crazy. Right, there we go. So we've collaged the front like that. This is slipping in here. Now, I will obviously cover this. So I've got some just old book page here. So this is like images that I'm, you know, not too keen on. So I'm just going to back it onto there. Okay. Okay. Like that. And now, obviously, as you can see, I mean, this has got sort of, you know, a lot of image on there, so I'm not going to be able to, you know, I would like to be able to have a border around it, but obviously due to the fact that it's an image page, I'm going to struggle to do that. But I'm just going to put it on like that, and we'll just see how it looks if I were to go with having a bit of the image from the image, if you see what I mean. So like there, I just cut that down there like that. Okay, and just cut down there like that. So I mean, like I say, it has got some of that image in the background, but actually I don't think it looks too bad, because, you know, it's not so very noticeable now, is it? So yeah, I don't mind it. So yeah, we can obviously ink that up. Let's just ink up a little bit. It's a bit marked on the back, you know, you can see those kind of markings there. Again, that's just where it's vintage, and you know, I quite like all of that, to be honest. So I'm not bothered by that being a bit blemished on the back. I think it sort of adds to it, really. Just ink around there. Okay, like that. There we go. Pop that. Ooh, pop that into there. And then let's just see. So I've got this, which I'm wondering if we could make some sort of pocket or anything out of this. So let's just put in my other images. I mean, I'm going from one extreme to the other here, because now look at me, I'm using them all over the show, you know, as opposed to like the first version using this book, where I didn't really use many. I'm now using them all over. So I'm going to take this one down, get rid of those mountain type bits. Okay, like that. And then, yeah, now we could do it like this, or we could have it on the envelope. Just see. I can't decide now. Yeah, I think I do prefer it on the envelope actually. So I'm going to just glue this envelope together. Okay. These are some rubbish envelopes that I bought from Amazon, and yeah, when they arrived, they're not very good quality or anything, and they're very flimsy, and they're also very yellow, which I wasn't so keen on. But they're okay for making pockets like this, to be honest. They're fine. So I'm just going to trim off this edge. Okay. Like that. Going to, glue that one down. Okay. Glue that one down like that. Now obviously, again, since the me starting making junk journals, obviously I've got loads and loads of digitals now. Whereas before I had the 12x12 scrapbook papers, I had lots of stamps, all from my scrapbooking days, but didn't have loads of like individual elements, like the fussy cut type elements, like labels and butterflies and all of that kind of stuff. I had a few, because I was always a sucker for buying those little die cut packs, but I found them very expensive. They're quite expensive over here in the UK, so I didn't have tons of them. And again, obviously, if I did have them, guess what? You guessed it, I was hoarding them. So yeah, although I did have a few, I wasn't then really I wasn't using them. So yeah, now I'm not going to be using this now, so I'm going to probably take that up there like that as my pocket. Okay, and then I'm not going to use this now because this actually is quite thick, so I'm going to just use this, or I could use some of this, which I've just knocked on the floor and I just watched it fly off the desk. So let me just go and grab that. Hold on. Okay, so I'm going to I think go with this section here. So just going to fold this up to gauge where to cut that. Okay, like that. Oh, it's looking like a lovely day outside, very nice and sunny. Okay, just tear that one down. And I'm going to just take that into there, take that down there like that. Okay, like that. So yeah, this is my vintage desk set, set 2, I think. Oh, I've suddenly got a bit of a blank now. I'm thinking, oh, is it set 2? Can't remember. Well, it's on my Etsy shop, so if you wanted to have a look, you'd probably be able to find the pictures and fathom if it's set 2 or could even be set 3. There we go. Could be set 3, to be honest. Right, so I'm going to have it like that. Now what I'm going to do, and I've got into this lately, where I'm using staples to staple pockets like this. And the reason for this, and I have talked about this a couple of times, is it takes up less of your pocket space. Because when you put glue down, even if you put just the tiniest little slither down there, the chances are when you press that down, your glue is going to spread over a little bit. And so what started as just that edge, by the time your glue's spread, your glue might come to there. Which if you think you've done that on both sides, it's really shrunk down the amount of space you've got for your pocket. So I've kind of got into the habit lately of stapling these types of pockets rather than gluing them. And I'm just preferring that. And I'm not saying I'm always going to do that, but just at the moment, that's you know, I'm really enjoying doing that because I think it does kind of give you a bigger space for your pieces that you're putting into the pocket. Now I'm just going to ink the back page back up a bit. Don't think I've inked that yet, so yep. Okay. Pop that there. Now I'm thinking this possibly needs a little bit of green or something, because obviously we've got quite a bit of greeny colours with the leaves. So I'm just having a look to see. I thought I had a little green book plate there. Obviously knocked that on the floor. I mean, of all the things to knock on the floor. Can I see it anywhere? No, of course I can't see it. That would be just far too easy, wouldn't it? Got one of my ribbon embellishments there, which is kind of quite nice, isn't it? So I mean, you can see straight away, you know, this is going to be a lot more embellished and decorated up than the first journal that I made like this. But that's purely because obviously I've got a lot more supplies now to be able to decorate it up. So, you know, it's easy to kind of like decorate when you've got a lot more things. So going to make the most of that and yeah, definitely decorate it up a lot more. So I'm thinking something like that looks quite pretty. I think it ties in both the sides, and then I could probably put something on here as well. Not sure what. Hold on a second. I've just got a couple of my lace clusters here as well. Oh my goodness, I mean, that's pretty lovely, but I'm feeling I need to tie in the pink a little bit on that side. Yeah. Right, okay, so I'm going to go down and pop this lace down on the edge. I loved how that looked. I mean, it's quite shocking, isn't it? The difference that made by just having that bit of lace there kind of like transformed the whole look of this. You know, I don't know about you guys, but as soon as it went down, you know, placed on there, it just looked completely different. The whole page just took on a completely different look. So I'm not saying it, you know, necessarily looked miles better, but it definitely, it brought it all together somehow, because there wasn't really much green other than on the pocket. And now it's just bringing the colours from the pages right together, isn't it? Which is pretty nice. So I do like that. I do like that as well, to be honest. But I feel like we needed some pink really on there rather than more blue. Oh, I do have a pink book plate though. So perhaps we could have a pink book plate. And perhaps even just on the book page itself. Kind of something like that. On there, it needed something pink, doesn't it? Oh, I've got a little bit of pink lace ruffle, so let's just see what we could do is have some pink lace ruffle on there. Oh, I quite like that. Yeah, what do we think to that? And now, I do ordinarily, I would say, quite like to have some sort of ruffle on the inside of the front and back covers. Just, yeah, for some reason, I do really like to have a bit of ruffle. So we could have a bit of this, or actually, ooh, some of this ruffle. Now, again, this was just laying about, but that's a pretty nice colour, isn't it? Because it goes really nicely with this pocket. I mean, it's a shame because I feel like it does cover up a little bit of the lace there. Let's just see. So I have a bit of ruffle at the top or something. What if I had this ruffle here? Aha, this might be better than the pink actually. Just cut this down. I mean, I could even have it actually on the journal card, to be honest. It's quite nice, isn't it? And then I could have my sari silk ruffled down the edge. Oops. Oh, can't even separate it, let alone ruffle it. So yeah, we could have that down there. Oh, I love how that looks. Yeah, really love that. So yeah, I'm going to do that. Now I'm going to glue this down first, and I'm going to glue it this way so that it's got a, oh, actually we could have a top loading pocket, to be honest. Yeah, I think I might prefer a top loading pocket. Okay. Now you could have opened the top of the envelope up to make another pocket in the top. The reason why I haven't done that particularly is these envelopes aren't that strong. So I don't really want to have anything that could be, you know, a weak spot when putting things in and out. So, but yeah, I mean, if it was a stronger envelope, definitely that would have been quite nice to do. Okay, so I've got that there. Oops, glued in the thread from the sari silk, never mind. And then we're going to just ruffle down the sari silk down this edge, so like that. Okie dokie. Oops. Like that. Okay. Loving how that looks so far. Yeah, I will go right the way down. I thought I quite like lately I'm putting just the sari silk sort of halfway down and then just snipping it off. I think that looks really fun and really cute. But yeah, I think on this page it warrants going right the way down, to be honest. But that is something that I am liking doing lately. Oops, I'm just going to glue that down. Just wanting to lift a little bit. There we go. Like that. Okay. Right, love this, but do we want it here? Do we want it on the actual page? Do we want it on the thingamabob? Also thinking perhaps we need to take this down a bit. It's quite wide. So yeah, just snipping that down a little bit. Yeah, it was a little bit on the wide side, wasn't it? So yeah, now I'm going to just ink this up a little bit as well. Okay. Like that. I still can't decide whether to have it on the journal card or the page. I mean, probably the page would be better, because also the page is going to look very plain when we take it out, isn't it? I mean, I'm thinking maybe put something else on the page as well, to be honest. So yeah, let's pop this down. Going to put the glue onto the ruffle rather than the other way around. So normally I would put the glue down on the page, but oops, I want to make sure I'm putting it in the right place. So there we go. Like that. And yeah, this can go in like that. And then that there. And just, whoops, just take that off. Yeah, I mean, that looks pretty, doesn't it? So let's just pop this down. Okay, like that. Just make sure I'm not sticking it down at all onto the page beneath. No, okay, looking good. And then, to be honest, what we could do is pop a little bit of pink, perhaps, on the top of here. Well, maybe it looks okay. I don't know. Just feel like I would like to have something else pink, really, somewhere. Oh, what about that? Oh yeah, like that. So I'm just going to hot glue this down over the lace, which will hopefully glue that lace down, but if it doesn't, I'll give the lace a bit of a helping hand. So like that. Yeah. Oh my goodness, how cute does that look? So sort of shabby chic and tatty, but very, very cute, I think. So yeah, I think that works quite nicely. So very different to our first page that we did, obviously using the book previously. I mean, that was quite a lot of years ago, to be honest. That was one of my early journals, I think. So it's hard to remember, to be honest. I should have looked at the date of the video, but I'm going to have a little bit of bling. There we go. Like that. Oh, loving how this page looks. It's really yummy, isn't it? Yeah, I should have dug these lovely books out sooner, shouldn't I? I'm just wondering whether we might have this butterfly just, you know, going to brighten it up a bit further. Because like I say, these pages, you know, from this beautiful book, they are, you know, they are darker than you expect, to be honest. So, right, do we want to have a butterfly over here or not? I mean, I thought perhaps that butterfly just ties in this yummy green of the sari silk, to be honest. And that was another thing, of course, I had no sari silk or anything, you know, in those early days. I mean, to be honest, I've only actually had sari silk for a couple of years now, so I was quite late to the party with the sari silk. But yeah, I do love it now I've had it. I definitely love it. Wouldn't want to not have it now. Really do love it. Right, let me just see if I've got anything at all that I could just pop onto there. Because I've gone like full circle, you know, I've gone from actually quite plain in that original journal to now I love just, you know, more is more. I mean, I don't say it was really plain, because actually I still don't think it was that plain, but yeah, I wasn't really ever one for like minimalist, but I do definitely love the whole more is more now. Right, just going to glue this down. I'm just going to put this down like a belly band, to be honest. It's quite a tiny piece, so, you know, can be used or not. Like that, okay. Okay. What did I do with that ribbon? I could have the ribbon on there. I mean, I do like the ribbon, to be honest. Oh yeah, that's right there. Okay. Let's pop it on that side like that. Okay. Yep, loving how that looks. Now just going to quickly glue this velvet ribbon down because it looks a little bit, there we go. Oops. Oh, can I move that over slightly? Just going to take this in because it was just touching that page. Otherwise it's going to get a bit crumpled when the page turns. Right, there we go. So that's our double page spread. Absolutely love it. Let's have a look and compare it to the first page in the original journal using that book. So just going to pull my original up. Okay, go right back to the beginning. Okay. Okay, so I've gone right back to the beginning. So the opening double page spread of the original, oops. Oh, trying to get it with the, you know, so we can actually kind of have a look. There we go. So that was the first page in the original book. So I definitely don't dislike it. It's, you know, it's super pretty still. And to be honest, you know, I was thinking it was quite minimalist. Actually, I've still got quite a bit of bits and bobs going on there. you know, ribbon and things here. We've got a doily, we've got another little piece there, we've got 2 layers of lace, bling, little fabric embellishment, a leaf, I'm not sure what that is, but little flower embellishment on lace, some sheet music, another little flower. So actually there is quite a fair bit going on. So I'm just going to kind of like show you. So this is our first page spread in the new one. This is our first page spread in the original. So yeah, let me know which one that you like best. You know, and yeah, no hard feelings. If you preferred the original, that's fine too. But I mean, actually, I don't think they're that dissimilar. You know, they're kind of definitely got echoes of each other on those pages, haven't they? And then this one, whoops, this one was that page with the corners. So if I can just quickly find that somewhere, with the envelope with the corners. Oops, no, further in. There we go. No, not there. So just get to the one with the corners. Oh no. Oh, it's way further than I expected. Right, okay. So this is the one with the corners there. So you've got the 2 corners there, and that's the 2 corners on that page. So, and obviously I will put some lace or something like that under here. You know, I'm not going to just leave that plain. You know, I will decorate that up. I'm not sure whether this had something underneath it. Oh, we just had some lace going on the underneath page. So, you know, I might do something like that. I might put a pocket underneath. You can just about see it. Just had some lace under there. You know, so we can, yeah, we can have a look and kind of see really. But yeah, let me know what you think. Have you kind of gone back to something years later and worked with the same materials but kind of done a different spin on it? Yeah, what do you think? Is that fun to do? You know, don't you like going back to things? Do you make repeats of items? You know, let me know what you think. I will try and do a second page on this. Whether or not I'll decorate some more of it and then do a second page, I'm not sure. But I don't want to obviously bore you all to tears by just, you know, doing kind of same old, same old. But yeah, I will try and come back and do another page working on this. So yeah, really appreciate a big thumbs up for this video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd really appreciate you subscribing to my channel. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, everybody. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks then. Bye.